Okay, so let's talk about some of the highlights of the proposed changes.
Sure. Well, I think you can look at them in maybe four categories. One is some changes to make the program more small business friendly. The second would be this point system, as Councilwoman Brown pointed out. And what that really allows us to do is for projects that kind of meet the basic minimum test, then they would get a relatively short abatement, which means relatively short value of the abatement. But businesses that pay better wages, that pay health insurance, that are more aligned with our comprehensive plan, in other words, that are more focused on investment within the central part of Fort Wayne, that those businesses would then be able to get larger abatements. And so I had not been in favor of the point system initially, actually, but in working this through and in discussing, it seemed like that was a very good way of kind of distinguishing between businesses that you still want to be able to help with a tax abatement, or other businesses that are really, doing things that are more in line with some of the goals the city has in terms of raising average wage and reinvesting in the central part of town. And then another component would be the alignment with the consolidated plan, and that we haven't really had that geographic link for general tax abatements before. And then lastly, I think a better attention to compliance, and kind of cleaning up some of the compliance language to make sure that we do, as a city, have the ability, if a business takes advantage of tax abatement for a couple of years and then closes, what do we do to be able to protect ourselves and protect our taxpayers?
Do the changes address anything to do with tracking of the compliance?
Exactly. Right. I mean, although we've had, the compliance has historically been tracked, but the ordinance said, once a company came into substantial compliance, then they stopped tracking, and we've removed that language so the tracking would go on through the life of the abatement.
Okay. Liz, did you have anything?
I just think it's important that we're trying to emphasize that there are certain areas in the city where we think growth is very important. And I know Councilman Glenn Hines always says in his district, the 6th district, any business development and investment there is good. And I think what we're trying to do with this 3-mile radius from downtown, which is a test, we made it far enough out. I think it hits the Home Depot
On Coliseum.
On Coliseum that's empty. And our idea is that investment in that particular zone is going to be higher priority than outside. So that's that, and you'll see that with the point system. So some businesses that might not get them outside the zone, or they're not quite high enough and they won't get a long enough one if they're inside the zone, because that's the whole point. We want to encourage the downtown more than the other places as well.
Build the core.
Build the core.